Welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Dee Dee, this is Randy, and we're here at Frederick County Animal Control and Adoption Center on Rosemont Avenue. And we are bringing you a special episode of Pet Pals today. We're going to introduce you to 10 rabbits that are here at the shelter in need of new homes. While it's not unusual for the shelter to have rabbits for adoption, they're pets like any other pet that people either can no longer care for, or even in the case of one of our rabbits, are found in the streets of Frederick without any identification and need some rescue. But there are 10 rabbits in the shelter right now, and we only have 6 rabbit cages. So hopefully we are going to convince some of you to consider a rabbit in your future, because we really need to find them someplace else to be. We are really set up to care for dogs and cats, and while we make the temporary accommodations for all other animals when we need to, it isn't the ideal situation for them. So our first guest is Spots, and Spots is only 3 months old, and she is here with her brother, who you'll be meeting shortly. And for those of you more familiar with cats and dogs, rabbits also have specific breeds that are described by their coat type, their coloring, and their size. And in rabbits, just like in dogs and cats, it's very common to see mixed breeds. Spots is a mini Rex, and what that means is that she's been bred to be small and to have a special kind of fur. The Rex fur is, she has no guard hairs, which means it's only undercoat. It's very plush and short. She does not shed as much as other rabbits, and she has curly whiskers. So all of those things mean nothing about her personality, which, as you can see on Randy's lap, is lovely. We took her to the radio show, so she has been in the car with us, been in and out of a carrier. She shares her cage with a sibling, and so she gets along with other rabbits, and just has a lot going for her, not to mention her very young age. The people who brought her to us only had her for 2 weeks. They bought 2 bunnies to have as pets, and then very quickly found out that they are allergic to rabbits, or the hay that they eat. So they weren't able to keep them. They did call the breeder back, which is the right thing to do, and see if the breeder was able to take the bunnies back, and she was not. So they are here at the shelter in need of a new home, and they don't have to be adopted together, but should you want to adopt 2 rabbits, it would be nice to take these 2 together because they already know each other, they share a small space, get along very well, and they've known each other since birth. So if you think that Spots would make a good match for you or someone that you know, then please come by the shelter and meet all of our rabbits and see what you think. We are back with Spots' sister Cadbury, and Cadbury is also a mini Rex, also 3 months old, just as friendly as Spots, and also a female. So if you wanted to adopt them together, you could. Female rabbits, as nature intended, tend to be very territorial. So these 2 will be spayed before we adopt them out, and that makes them less territorial, more able to be compatible throughout their lifetime. But it also means that if you choose to adopt just 1 rabbit and then later decide to get another, as long as they're spayed and neutered, then you can have compatible groups of bunnies. Bunnies are social, so they absolutely enjoy company from each other. And especially if you work all day, you want to think about getting 2 rabbits, because that's 8 hours a day that you're not there to give your rabbit interaction and activities, and also 8 hours at night while you're asleep. So it doesn't give the rabbit very much time to have activities and companionship. Having another rabbit can help you answer that need for things for them to do. So if you think a rabbit would be the kind of pet that you might like, check out houserabbit.org, because it gives you a lot of information. Most people think that rabbits eat carrots and lettuce, and here we are feeding them carrots and lettuce, but these are treats. What rabbits eat is grasses and hay. So if you have a bunny, you will need to buy some non-legume hay, grass hay like Timothy hay, or there's canary grass hay. You can go to your feed store and talk to someone at the feed store about what's best to do. Some people change the type of hay seasonally. You can do that. But they are really easy to feed, and since they just eat grass, really inexpensive to feed. If you are interested in finding out more about their behavioral life, you can go to YouTube and look up agility rabbits and the herding rabbit, who's pretty famous by now. They and it'll really let you know that rabbits are, have a full life just like any animal would. Sometimes people imagine that a rabbit is an easy pet they can get, easier than a cat or dog, and really it's not easier, it's just different. They live a different life, they have different needs, but they need just as much as a dog or a cat. It just depends on your life and how the rabbit's life fits in with you. You're cute. We are back with Mama. And Mama is an Angora rabbit, which describes the length of her hair. If you've ever heard of Angora sweaters, they come from rabbit fur. Their fur is used to make yarn, and that is used to make a wool-like substance that a lot of people are not allergic to if they're allergic to sheep wool. Mama is a mini Angora, so she was never intended to actually be used to shave and use her fur for yarn because she's so tiny. But people find the long fur attractive and cute in a pet. So a mini version of Angoras was bred for pet purposes. And Mama is so named because she does have some babies that are here. You'll be meeting them shortly. She's all gray and she is adult. She's a couple years old. We're not sure exactly how many years old because she was given to a family secondhand. And then she had her bunnies, which they also raised and found homes for some and brought 2 of them here. So Mama came from a home that had dogs, kids, a busy household. So she is used to being picked up. She is used to people being around her and living the life of a pet. So that can make her attractive if you're thinking of a pet for a child. You want to get a rabbit who is either young, but then you're going to have to put in the work training the bunny to get used to you handling her, or a rabbit who is already used to people, the activity of people and handling, because rabbits are eaten by pretty much every animal in the wild that is not vegetarian. So they can be very fearful of being grabbed or lifted, and also that's nature's way of keeping them safe. If they run away from being grabbed or lifted, they live longer. That means that when you pick up your rabbit, you need to teach the rabbit that you're not dangerous in any way. And then you also need to help them meet strangers so that they understand that people in general are not going to hurt them. And especially if you're going to have a rabbit for kids, you do want the rabbit to be able to be picked up by the kids so they can take her out safely and play with her. What some people do is they get a hutch for the rabbit that's inside that has a ramp into a playpen area like this so that they can allow the rabbit to come out at will. You can also do that. But it is good for all rabbits to know that their owner is a safe person and can lift them in an emergency without causing their heart rate to go up and for them to get upset. One of the things they do when they're upset is they wiggle around too much. So it's really easy to drop a rabbit if you're not prepared for that. And obviously, if you would like to adopt a rabbit and you come into the shelter, then we have volunteers here on Saturdays, Kim and Casey, who will be happy to teach you, get you comfortable with, and demonstrate for you how rabbits should be picked up and how best to get your rabbit used to that. And this little girl is ready for a new home with someone, does get along with other rabbits if you need to know that. And Kim and Casey can also talk to you about how to introduce a new rabbit to a rabbit that you already have at home if you are thinking about doubling up. If you think that Mama would make a good match for you or someone that you know, you can also find her picture on petfinder.com and put it on your Facebook page for us. We are back with one of Mama's sons. He is 6 to 11 months old. We're not exactly sure. We tried to gather when exactly he was born from the previous owner. And he is part Havana. The rabbit that they kept is a Havana rabbit, which has a normal coat with a plush undercoat and a short outer coat. But his mom was Mama, the Angora. So even though the Angora coat doesn't show on him, He is a mixed breed of both of those kinds of bunnies. And this little bunny was named Gidget when he was little because they thought he was a girl. And that is a common problem with pet rabbits, is that people aren't comfortable deciding if they have a girl or a boy. If they have more than one rabbit, they often don't know that they have one male and one female. And then sure enough, a couple of weeks later, they have many, many rabbits. So it is very important when you adopt your rabbits that you either have 2 girls, 2 boys, or have them spayed or neutered, which is why we do that here. And this little bunny is also used to dogs and kids, comes from the same busy household as Mama. But I put him in here so you can see his activity level, but also hopefully you can tell the difference in coat. This bunny is the same color as the Mini Rex Cadbury, but the coat is completely different because he has both the short undercoat hairs and the outer hairs, especially because he's part Angora. He even has long fur on his feet and a pretty fluffy tail. So Gidget, whose name you certainly could change if you were to adopt him, also has some light coloring down his side and white feet. So what he's doing right now with his chin is a behavior that all rabbits do. It's the same thing that cats do. He's marking the cage as his own. It puts a scent on it for other rabbits to know that he was here and at what time he was here. And it's one of the ways that they mark territory and communicate with rabbits that they don't get to meet up with. If you are interested in getting a rabbit, you may have heard that they can be litter trained. And it isn't the same as cats at all. The reason that cats can be litter trained is because cats prefer to bury their excrement, to be blunt, and that means that they want to dig a hole to go to the bathroom in. If you provide a box of sand or dirt that they can dig in, that's where they'll go. Behavior problem solved. With rabbits, it's quite different. They usually defecate while they're eating. So if you provide a litter box with hay in it and wood pellets on the bottom, you can usually contain most of their waste to their hay basket. But that is not the same as being litter trained. So what that means is when you allow your bunnies out to play, you want to have a prepared area with hard floor and an X pen and be able to clean up after. When the bunny is in the cage, the reason you provide the litter box is because if the rabbit is using the litter box, then it's very easy to keep the cage tidy. So it's really not litter training as you would think of for a cat. It's just a way to keep the environment that you enclose your rabbit in much more tidy and clean if you provide the type of setup that makes the rabbit more likely to behave in certain ways that keeps the cage clean. And I'm glad that he's doing this because a lot of times people think that rabbits are just quiet, gentle little animals that live in a box and when you want you can take them out and snuggle with them. It's very important to understand that rabbits are very agile and active. He absolutely could jump out of this pen. He's not going to right now because he's a little nervous and he's not sure what's on the outside. But this pen would not be suitable at all for you to use at home and walk away from. They are, if they're in shape, very strong little animals and can do a lot. They throw things. Oftentimes people don't know. They'll pick up their bowl and toss it. So they like to have toys to manipulate in their cage. So it's just one thing you should know about rabbits if you're going to have one is they need lots of space and they need lots to do. If you think that this little Havana Angora mix would be right for you, then come by the shelter and meet him. We are back with Mama's other son. This little bunny does not have white feet, has a white spot on his nose instead, and his name is Sam. Sam is, of course, the same age as Gidget, and if you chose to, you could adopt Sam and Gidget together because they have shared space in the past. They will be neutered, obviously, before you take them home. And one thing people often ask about if they're going to adopt more than one pet that's different with rabbits is actually 2 males make the best bonded pair for life if you choose to have a pair of rabbits to share a cage forever. And they obviously have to have enough space for 2. But females are much more likely to defend their space, and that is because if in nature they were to raise babies, they'd have to protect them from predators. So they're much more particular about who comes into their space. The boys don't have that need since they are all about gaining new territory and making new friends. So if you are interested in having 2 rabbits, then 2 boys are the easiest to bond together. Now, if you get relatives, then certainly they've already been together since birth, and it doesn't matter if it's 2 girls, 2 boys, if they already know each other. But you should know that if you have 2 girls, you need a little bit more space, and that if you provide a nest box, you definitely need to provide 2, because girls are not likely to share one, whereas boys may very well share one. If you think that you have seen a bunny so far that interests you, or even if you're just generally interested in rabbits and what it takes to adopt one or to keep one in your home, then give us a call and let us know, because we have some experts, Kim and Casey. We can also refer you to Carla Pickett. There's houserabbit.org, someone to talk to you about all the things that you would need to get and all of the ways that you can enjoy a rabbit as a pet for your family. And these people are very generous with their time and happy to talk to you about what's involved, because they know that we are not ideally suited to housing rabbits long term, and they want to help keep rabbits from ending up in the shelter. They also want to help us place rabbits with people who are really ready for the commitment. And I know I always talk about that with all of our pets, but I just read the other day that the American Veterinary Medical Association says that dog and cat ownership is down in general. And that may be a good thing for shelters, because that means that people who may not be ready to get a pet are now less likely to get one. So that may help us out in placing our animals in more permanent homes, so that we have fewer animals in the shelter that we're caring for. It's your tax dollars that are paying for the care of these animals, so it's definitely a good idea to educate people about pets, have people keep the pets they get, and have people who may not be ready for pets not get them. So we will be back after a short break with more rabbits. Hope you join us. We are back with a mini lop. This little bunny is called Tuesday, and he is, the breed that he is a lop because his ears fold down, and people are very attracted to these bunnies because they're super cute, really plush coat. The ears being down make their face look round, which people are naturally attracted to. It makes them look like babies. They're very, very cute rabbits. There is a rescue in Northern Virginia called Bunny Lou that usually takes lops for us if they can, and we have notified them to see if they can take Tuesday. But it's hard for them as well because the rescue is usually full. They keep the bunnies for as long as they can, and you're not facing the right way. And these rabbits make just as good pets as any other kind. They're just very popular because of their appearance. And Tuesday lived in a hutch, so Tuesday is not used to being handled as much as the other rabbits you've met this morning. He is 2 years old, and since lops are usually very peaceable, passive bunnies, it will be very easy to teach him that people are safe and that he can trust people to handle him. And what I did during the break is I placed a hay basket in here so that you can see what we mean when we talk about litter training bunnies. There are wood pellets in the bottom and then grass hay in the top. And that way, if he wants to eat hay, he can jump into the basket and graze. Their digestive system is much like a pony or horse. So they would like to graze about 18 hours a day. And that means that rabbits don't go very long without eating, but they eat tiny little amounts all the time, and that keeps their digestive tract healthy. Sometimes people don't know that they need hay all of the time, and by giving them a small bowl of food that they eat really quickly, bunnies can get an upset stomach just like a horse. I'm sure you've heard of horses colicking. bunnies have the same type of digestive tract. So if you know about horses, then you will be well prepared to care for a bunny. He is thinking about getting out. And as the other rabbit showed you, he was marking the pen with his scent, probably in the same place that the other bunny did, to say that he was also here. It's like putting a little graffiti on a wall. So he is, as I said, 2 years old and ready for a new home. We are back with one of Tuesday's friends. This is Cinnabon, and Cinnabon is also a lop rabbit, but interestingly, all of lop rabbits don't have their ears completely folded down. So it is certainly what the breeder is going for, the folded ears. But you can still have a lop rabbit whose ears are partially up, as in Cinnabon's case. Cinnabon's a similar color to Tuesday, and he is the same age, 2 years, and he came from the same place. Since lops are pretty mellow as far as temperament goes, they're usually really easy to teach to accept human handling. And as you can see, even though he was a hutch bunny, so he didn't get handled a lot, he's pretty comfortable with being carried and being fed by Randy.
He said, I don't want that carrot. Push it away.
And he is, I don't know if you could hear Randy, but Cinnabon has made it clear he prefers lettuce to carrots. And one of the things that rabbits do, since they don't technically have hands, they need their front feet for walking around, but they use their nose pretty persistently. So he took the carrot that Randy gave him and shoved it away. A lot of times people think that rabbits are very passive, but they're very interactive and very bold. So you will find that out when you adopt a rabbit of your own, or if you have rabbits at home. And it's important for people who want to adopt rabbits to know that they have strong personalities, because they need someone to deal with that, to work with them and accept that they have things that they want and don't want. A lot of people describe rabbits throwing their empty bowl in a little temper fit. That's a common behavior. So they have wants, they have needs, and they will make it known. So they make a pretty good pet because of being communicative. So this little bunny could potentially be adopted with Tuesday. We don't have them in the same cage here together because they need a lot more space. They're bigger rabbits than the minis. So they have separate cages. But again, if you're thinking of adopting two, then come by the shelter on a Saturday when Kim and Casey are here, and they will talk to you about how to tell if rabbits like each other and would make compatible pairs if you want to adopt more than one. We are back with our next guest, Miko. And Miko is an albino rabbit, which any breed of rabbit can have an albino version. And that means that he doesn't have any pigment. So his eyes are pink and his fur is white, and he doesn't have any markings of color on him at all. Miko is also mixed with a rabbit breed called a lionhead, which is very popular in the pet market, and it is an Angora type rabbit that's very tiny. So you can see on his neck and head that he has longish fur. And since he's only part lion head, the fur on his body is normal, double-coated short hair. So all of this breed stuff is not really important as far as their personality, but it is important in describing the size and look of a rabbit that you want. Some people want long hair, but then you have to know that you have to brush it. Some people want the short hair, but then you have to know that they're going to shed twice a year. And also people need to know if they're allergic to a bunny, because it's possible to be allergic to one breed of rabbit and then not other breeds of rabbit. So if you're going to have a pet, you definitely want to know if that pet's going to be compatible with you. And Miko is about 3 years old, also a male, also will be neutered before he goes home. And as you can see, he is about the same size now as the mini Rexes are at 3 months old. They're not going to get much bigger than that either, but the range of size in rabbits is pretty extreme. So you can have anything all the way from a little Californian bunny, which is about that big, to a New Zealand, or even a Finnish giant, which is just the most giant rabbit you can imagine like dog size. They're usually gray. They're bred that large to use for food, but also people have them as pets because they're remarkably large. So if you have been thinking about getting a rabbit, because we have 10, we're going to say now is the time. Come in and talk to us, but if you know someone who might be interested, please pass their pictures around and help us get the word out. Where are you going? We are back with our next guest. This is Milo, and Milo is clearly not a rabbit, but we also have other small animals in the shelter, including guinea pigs, which is what Milo is. And guinea pigs, or cavies, are not as agile as rabbits. They are not as bold as rabbits, and they can make very nice pets for young children. This little guinea pig does come with his own roommate, Otis, if you want to adopt two. And guinea pigs are highly social. They do very well with a roommate. And Milo and Otis are available to adopt together or separately. Some people also call guinea pigs whistle pigs. One of the things that they do that people find endearing is that once they're used to you and your routine and when you feed and clean them, when they know that you're bringing some food, or they hear cellophane rattling, or some people say it's the crisper drawer of the refrigerator, they make a little cute whistling noise that is to attract you, to get you to come and feed them and interact with them, and people really like that. So if you have considered getting a rabbit, by all means come to the shelter and meet our rabbits. But if you're not sure if you're up to that 13 possible year commitment, then guinea pigs are much shorter lived, and they require much less activity out of the cage to have a full life. So it's still great for them to be taken out daily and snuggled with and handled. But rabbits really need a lot more space than guinea pigs. So a guinea pig might make a nice first pet for someone that you're trying to introduce to the world of pets. One of the things that we recommend if you're getting a pet for a child is that you make sure that you understand as the adult in the family that the pet's going to be your responsibility, because children should not lose a pet because of being forgetful or irresponsible. Certainly, they will have those moments. A pet is a great way to help them learn responsibility, but if you are not interested in getting the pet for yourself and for the family, then by all means, don't expect your child to be able to provide for everything that the pet needs without forgetting, because that's probably a little unrealistic. And if it results in the pet being taken to the shelter as a punishment, then that's something we obviously aren't in favor of, because getting animals at the shelter is something that we would like to prevent, with having people make the commitment up front and also giving you the information you need to make a good decision about pets that are a right match for your family. So if you have been thinking about getting a pet, don't forget that we have dogs and cats, sometimes reptiles, often birds, and we have our wish list. But we wanted to bring for you this week the special small animals that we have. Tell you that if you haven't seen the small animal that you want today, then think of calling Small Angels Rescue, because they have sugar gliders, guinea pigs, hedgehogs, hamsters, rats, all kinds of animals that might make an exact match for your family. If you are interested in rabbits or guinea pigs, then please come by and meet them. And I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Pet Pals and that you'll join us next time. You can see a link at the bottom of your screen to share this episode. And don't forget, petfinder.com. You can find pictures of all of our adoptable pets at Frederick County Animal Control and share them around. Thanks for joining us. Good boy.